second insight from this week. I think you're really going to love this one. I role play with agents all the time, maybe multiple times a week. And I do a fair amount of sales calls myself. I've been in sales literally my entire career. I've only had really, I think my first job, I worked at a movie theater. I was salaried at Macy's. And after that, I've pretty much either been on my own or on 100% commission my entire career. I'm definitely one of those, like, you eat what you kill type of mentality thing. I don't want anybody control. I don't want anybody having control over the income that I make. I want to be able to earn like what we produce. It's just kind of how I'm wired. Not good, not bad. Maybe you're wired a little bit different. That's okay. But one thing that you realize a lot, and you realize really quick, is the more sales calls that you make, the more you have to be really good at the first 30 seconds. Because even if you apply this to dating, like that first 15 seconds is like pretty much the only impression that you need. Like how they walk up to the conversation, how they show up to the conversation, how they talk. Are they complaining? Are they talking about themselves? Are they talking about you? Are they talking about others? Are they talking about, the news or sports or, pop fat? It doesn't matter what it is. And look, all of that's good. All of it's bad. It just depends on what you're looking at. That first 15 seconds is the most important part of that script. The second most important part of that script is how you close for that script. We'll talk about that in another episode. Right now, I just want to talk about how you open it. And this applies really to any sales conversation that you have, whether it's in person, over the phone, on Zoom, like any stage of the sales process, it works. And I want you to write this down. It's really simple. I'll put it in the show notes as well. If you look on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, or maybe you're on the website, I'll write it out there as well. It's called IAA, or Intro, Acknowledge, Ask. And it's exactly what it sounds like. I'm introducing who I am. I'm acknowledging why I'm calling you. And I'm asking for one small micro commitment that gets me into the conversation that I want to have with you. So let's go over what that is. Let's say this was a Zillow lead. And I know a lot of you guys are on, Zillow Premier or Zillow Flex. Like, Zillow has quite a bit of control in regards to what they do. But let's say that lead comes in through Zillow and you're calling them for the first time and they're not expecting your call at all. The intro is really simple. Hey, my name is Steve Olson and I'm a real estate agent with Zillow Brokerage, or whatever brokerage you're from. Probably shouldn't use Zillow as an example. So the intro is just that. Hi, my name is Steve and I'm a real estate agent with X company. That's it. That's the intro. The acknowledge is why I'm calling. Listen, I'm calling you because a few moments ago, you had just inquired on one of our listings over at Zillow.com. So now I know who's calling me. I know why they're calling me. Now I want to invite them to the next step of the conversation. And the question's really simple. We want a micro commitment. And I don't care what the answer to this question is. I'll explain why in a second. I'm calling because you just inquired on one of our listings over at Zillow.com, and I wanted to see what your schedule looked like to schedule a showing for you. I wanted to see what your calendar looked like this week to schedule a showing for you. I don't care if they say, I don't want to see it, or I don't want to, or I do want to see it, or I don't even know who you are. All of those answers are totally okay. I just want the conversation to keep going. Let me give that to you in one chunk. Hey, my name is Steve Olson. I'm a real estate agent with this brokerage. And listen, I'm calling because you had inquired on one of our listings over on Zillow.com. And I just wanted to see if you had time this week to go schedule a quick showing, right? We want to make this like, if you can't say this to your friend, hey, Mike, what's up, man? It's Steve. Hey, listen, I'm calling because Rage Against the Machine's coming to town next week, and I just wanted to see if you wanted a ticket as well. Maybe we could go together. That's the same exact framework, and that is something that you would tell your friend, right? You're probably already saying this right now. You're probably already saying this to your kids. You're probably talking, you're not introducing yourself to your wife, but like within so many ways, there's an introduction, or so many different ways or different things, there's an introduction. So now all we have to do is marry it with the intent of the call. Hey, my name is Steve Olson. I'm a real estate agent here at Real Estate Brokerage. And I'm calling because you had just clicked on one of our Facebook ads, specifically homes for sale here in San Diego. And I just wanted to call really quick to see if San Diego was the only market you were considering, or if maybe you're considering Orange County as well. I just want to get them talking. Now, they may say, who is this? Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Steve Olson. And like I said, I'm calling you because you were on social yesterday and you saw one of our ads. You clicked on it. You gave us your info and we sent you an email with all this. And look, I know this call is out of the blue, but I just want to make sure we're getting you everything you need. And you inquired on San Diego. So is that where you're looking? Oh, Steve, I'm just looking. You know what? I'm glad you're saying you're just looking. Believe it or not, that's exactly why I'm calling. And our job is, the intro is a little quick because we want to get everything out. And then we want to start to slow down the process during that so that we can be really intent with what they say. I'll give you another example. Maybe they came through an open house. So ring, ring. Hey, my name is Steve Olson. I'm a real estate agent at Real Estate Brokerage. And I'm calling because you and I had connected last week at our open house. And there's another home that I just learned about that's going to hit the market. I know the one that you saw wasn't a good fit. This one might be, and I didn't get a chance to communicate with you on spot, but are you considering that neighborhood, or are there other neighborhoods that you're actively looking at as well? Oh, Steve, listen, we already have a real estate agent. We were just kind of looking around. Hey, totally no problem. Would it help if I sent you this listing? I just want to make sure you have everything that you need. Oh, yeah, that would help. Awesome. What's your email address? Hey, really quick, I want to interrupt this video and let you know that you can actually digest all different parts of all of these videos in our twice a week email that gives you everything that you need to know to grow an inbound business here in 2026. It's totally free. Just go to steveolsongroup.com/email and you can register there. I'll send you every episode we do. You can consume whatever you want. And then also, while you're at it, subscribe to this YouTube channel. It helps us grow. So thanks for listening to this. Let's get back to the episode. And then you can make the decision if they say, I've already got a real estate agent and you don't want to work through that. Like, let's say you're like, cool, I don't want to fight that. Like, let me just give you the information. We can move on. It's your choice from there. But if we lead with contribution, with intro, acknowledge, ask, then what I think you're going to find is that like there really is no objection at the beginning of the call that you can be uncomfortable with, understanding that like nobody's expecting your call, right? So 50% of the people are going to be confused who you are. And there's some technological things that I work with on our coaching clients to be able to like, you know, when you call somebody, it says like maybe spam, like believe it or not, there are some marketing automation things that we can do to prevent that from happening using enterprise level CRMs and sending SMS and sending emails. We can overcome that spam thing really quick, especially if they're on an Android or an iPhone phone, which is pretty much like 98% of all phones out there. So there's some technological things we can do that, because if now it says maybe Steve Olson, I automatically have a much better chance of getting that call answered, right? If you show up like, hey, is this Steve? Yeah, it's Steve. How are you, Steve? I'm good. What do you want? You know, we're inviting them not to have a good call right from the get-go. Don't ever ask how people are doing. You're not calling to find out who they're doing, how they're doing, or who they're doing. And they're not answering the phone to tell you how they're doing. So both of you don't even want that question to happen. So just don't ask it. Get right to the point and do that right away. If you show up on purpose and you show up with authority, I can promise you right now, if you're in the market for a car, let's say you want to buy like a Toyota Tacoma truck. And as I call you out of the blue and I say, hey, John, it's Steve Olson. Listen, I work at the Toyota dealership here in Carlsbad, California. And I remember a few months ago you came in, but we really didn't have the cars that you were looking for. But one came in today and I thought of you first. It's got everything that you needed. It's priced right. And I got permission from my manager today to take a little bit off if you were still interested. Is there any way that like you may be able to stop in the next 4 hours just to take a look at it? I won't even try to sell you it. I just want to see if it's a good fit. Now, if you were in a market for a Toyota, you'd be like, yeah, I'll come right now, right? If you were in the market for a Honda Pilot or something, like a totally different car, like you're just going to say no. That's not objection. That's not rejection. That just means it's not a fit. Somebody that tells you that they just bought their home and they're not moving for 10 years, that's not an objection. That's not a rejection. That's just a condition, and that's somebody that you can't sell for. So I should have no amount of like frustration or you know fear of failure over those type of calls, because that person could never. I could have shown up to that call at a level 10 and just pounded 2 Red Bulls and be ready to go, did my morning routine, had the best call of my life. But if they're not looking for a home, the quality of the call doesn't matter, right? So the way that you can influence those the most is making sure that you show up to those calls very, very with a lot of authority, with a lot of confidence, and that should roll off your tongue really easy. Hey, my name is Steve Olson. I'm an agent with Real Estate Brokerage. And a little while ago, you walked into one of our open houses. I know that one wasn't a fit, but we did a little bit of research. And one of my other agent partners, somebody that I know that I've done a lot of business, just found out that another home in that neighborhood is getting listed in the next 2 weeks. So I wanted to call really quick to see if it was only that neighborhood you were considering, or if like the other 3 neighborhoods around you were considering those as well. That's a really, really good call, because that tells the client, like, I'm not just somebody on the list that they're calling. When somebody feels like they're just on the list that they're calling, the guard goes up and they're just like super generic until they're not, right? That's not really a fun phone call that we want to have. So in a market that like has astronomically low answer rates, we want to make sure that when we show up to these calls, we nail the opening and we have a specific reason we're calling them for. Do that. And trust me, the quality of your calls and the conversion ultimately, if you do all the other things we'll talk about in future episodes, it's going to get a lot better.